Hello and welcome back to Cars of Glasgow, and today you join me inside the 2021 Lexus UX 250H. So let's crack on with this video. But before we crack on, I actually better say thanks to Lexus Glasgow, part of Lexus Scotland on Instagram, that allowed me to film their Lexus 250H. Really appreciate it, as I've been waiting about 2 years to get my hands on one of these beauties, and today was the day, so woohoo! So this particular car we're in today, as I mentioned, is a 2021 Lexus UX, and for anybody who doesn't know, the Lexus UX is the smallest vehicle that they currently offer here in the UK. It rides on the TNGA Toyota platform, which shares the routes with the likes of Toyota Yaris, Toyota Prius, cars like that. It uses a 2 litre 4-cylinder petrol engine combined with a battery pack to give you that hybrid kind of battery driving. And all the power goes through a CVT transmission. Being a kind of quasi SUV, there is an option for a 4-wheel drive version, which is a second motor on the rear axle, which gives you about 7 brake horsepower and 55 Nm of torque if you need it, if the car detects you're slipping in the rear. Lexus Toyota call that the E4 system. But this particular car we're driving today is just a standard front-wheel drive kind of 250H setup. So being a hybrid, you can expect reasonable fuel economy. Around town the battery pack's going to kick in more than the petrol engine, which will save you some pennies. I think from memory it's about 50 miles to a gallon you can get with the front wheel drive, and it's about 47 claimed with the 4-wheel drive kind of configuration system. However, today I'm averaging 43.1 miles to a gallon, and I've had a mix of motorway and town driving over the last few hours. So the main difference, I would say, over the outgoing kind of Lexus CT200H that this kind of replaced, just because it is the smallest Lexus that cancelled the CT hatchback, which is noted as a 200H. I've called it the 250H, a little bit more power. I think it's 181 horsepower and about 190 Nm of torque. 0 to 60 is in a respectable 8.7 seconds. It's not going to be lightning quick, but it's definitely nippy enough around town, and I do notice it more in comparison to the CT that my dad currently owns. The ride is a little bit softer as well, a bit more comfortable than the CT as well, which I'm kind of basing this car off in terms of in my head comparison, just because it's almost a successor to that model. The Lexus UX comes with a host of technology. This is only the premium sport edition, along the lines of that, just one up from the standard, and that gives you those nice black gloss alloys, the black kicking grills, the kind of black out bits on the side, tinted windows. But we also get some technology like the blind spot monitoring, which is quite good. This car also comes with radar cruise control and climate control and sat-nav as standard across all UX cars, so that's quite good, just because I remember the days you hardly got sat-nav or cruise control, never mind radar cruise control, which gives you the ability to slow down the car. So if you set it at 40 miles per hour and the car in front is doing 27, the car will brake and then re-accelerate again to 30 once the car moves in front. So it is quite a handy bit of system kit. So we're getting to a bit of a national speed limit, put the foot down. Can't hear the CVT whine that much, especially in comparison again to previous Lexus models that disguise that CTV whine a little bit. And this, I don't know what they've done, but it's definitely not as prominent when you put your foot down under harsh acceleration. So that CVT whine isn't as prominent as you maybe think, especially in comparison to some other Lexus models that I've driven in previous years. When you put the foot down, you're not hearing it hold the hard kind of gearing that's maybe screaming at you like it sounds like it's in first gear when you're doing 40 miles per hour. So that's quite good. This is a 4-door kind of 5-seat quasi SUV, kind of tall hatchback really, that replaced the CT200H. And the dimensions are quite good, just for like parking. I was in Shawlands the other on, which is kind of a tenement part of Glasgow for anybody who's not visited. And it was quite nice just to be able to find a parking space and chuck the car in, and you're eased by the sensors in the camera, etc. It does feel, when I'm trying to pull at this junction, visibility is not the best. I think it's the dark headlining, which is very BMW-esque to me. Something like an M Sport with all that black. I mean, it should be quite a light colour. But the The A-pillars aren't bad getting out, but the rear, you've got quite thick C-pillars, and just overall feel it's quite a high belt line, like kind of like the bathtub design that some Lexus cars have had in the past. So that does make visibility creeping in and out, city driving wise, a little bit tough. But once you're on the road at any speeds, it's pretty comfortable. It's a miles improvement over the CT200H that, as you know, has been in the family for the past couple of years. This seems to ride more comfortable, the seats are more comfortable. This one doesn't have any electric adjustment or adjustable lumbar or anything like that, so it's pretty standard. And in comparison to the CT, you can almost tell immediately the seat itself is more comfortable, never mind the suspension. The powertrain is a little bit more responsive as well. As I said, it's not 2 litre versus 1.8 in the CT, and you're getting about 181 horsepower and 190 newton meters of torque. It's claimed 0 to 62 happens in 8.7 seconds, but if you put the foot down, we're still climbing. It's not that fast. And you do have an option at the top here, to put into sports mode, which changes the dials and gauges to make it a little bit more LFA inspired, as Lexus lingo would be. I would use this car for probably 4 people, ideally 2 adults and 2 kids. The rear leg room is pretty small and tight, much like the CT that I kind of replaced. Boot space is about 320 litres, which again drags behind, I think, the 470 litres of the X2, and I think it was 402, 405 litres of that Audi Q2, which is a smaller vehicle than this. I think this battery packs really eat up that boot space. When we're talking about the boot, you do get a kind of flimsy-ish parcel shelf that kind of feels more like a kite than anything else. I wouldn't really want to put anything over it. I know people who do road trips like to put stuff on the parcel shelf. My family's always put handkerchiefs and things on it, and maybe sweets or pillows, but I think you would risk damaging that if you put anything on that, just due to the flimsy nature of it. But that's been my road test of the Lexus UX 250H. I will do a full in-depth tour of the car, showing you all the key buttons, features, etc. in another video for anybody who's interested in a more in-depth video. But if you did like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Subscribe, as I said, if you're a Lexus fan enthusiast, comment below, and don't forget to check out the other Lexus UX video as well that will be upcoming. So thanks very much for watching. Ciao!